Hi, everyone. My name is Priya Iyer, and we're about to get started in a minute or so. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And yeah, we'll get started in a second. All right. Niveta, can you please bring up the PowerPoint?
Yeah, 1 minute.
All right. While that's happening, I'd like to welcome you all to this wonderful webinar in which we are about to talk about how KDAPT can help in the hospitality industry. And um, the few ground rules I'll tell you is if you ever have a question or you need answers to anything, please either write it in the chat, raise your hand, or add it to the Q&A section. There will always be someone there monitoring all of those areas to let us know if there is any questions during, and we are happy to pause. We also have a Q&A section at the end in which we're happy to answer your questions. So I'd like to welcome you all to Rewriting the Hospitality Decision Playbook webinar, in which we talk about how KDAPT can help in the hospitality industry. And it can be applied to many other industries as well. We have my lovely colleague Niveta, who will be taking you through the PowerPoint. And then after the PowerPoint is done, we have a demo in which we will actually show you how this works in the real program. And then we'll have questions. Thank you so much. Niveta, please take it away.
Thank you, ma'am. Hey, everyone. This is Niveta. I'm from the sales team at KARYA. And on behalf of KARYA, I would like you to welcome to today's webinar. So it's about rewriting the hospitality decision playbook using KDAPT. And over the next 30 to 40 minutes, we'll explore one of the biggest challenges facing the hospitality industry today. So, which is turning that data into timely, meaningful business decision. So, the hotels, hospitality organization, they generate data from multiple systems every single day. For example, the property management system, POS, finance, CRM, booking channels, the guest feedback platforms, housekeeping, and many more to say. So, the real question is, how do you bring all of this information together and transform it into decisions that improve everything, like the guest experience, increase revenue, and drive operational efficiency? So that is exactly what we will be discussing today through KDAPT. So KDAPT is our AI-powered generative business intelligence platform that is designed to make the enterprise data easy to access, understand, and act on. So with the traditional BI tools, it often requires the users to build reports, understand complex dashboards, or depend on the technical team to retrieve the information. So this process can take hours or even days. So KDAP changes that completely. Let's say instead of navigating from multiple reports or writing queries, you simply ask a question in plain English, just as you would ask a colleague. So there's no coding, no SQL, no specialized BI expertise required here while you're using KDAP. Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say your hotel group is using Dynamics 365 CRM to manage the customer data, right? Or it could be any other business application. We first securely connect that data to KDAPT, and then you can ask any question. For example, the question would go something like, what were our corporate booking revenues in Q4 of 2025? So within seconds, KDAP analyzes the data from your connected enterprise system, and then it gives you the answer. So using only your organization data strictly. And the response can be viewed as a clear summary, and with a single click, it can be transformed into chart, interactive dashboard, so making the information much easier to understand and also share as well. But KDAPT also goes beyond answering the questions. So it helps the user uncover trends, identify hidden insights, generate visualization automatically, and also ultimately make faster, more informed business decision. So this is all about KDAPT. Now let me talk about the architecture diagram. Okay. So at a high level, KDAPT is built on four key layers, and the first one is the data layer. So KDAPT securely connects to your organization's existing data sources. That could be your ERP, CRM, property management system, for example, POS, finance application, or any other operational system. And the next one is the semantic layer. So think of this layer as the intelligence that understands your business language. So when a user asks a simple question in plain English, such as which properties had the highest food and beverage revenue last month? So this layer interprets that question and converts it into a format that the system can understand. Uh, so the users who is using GitHub, let's say it could be a functional user, they don't need SQL skills or any technical expertise. They just ask any simple question. And then, yeah, third one is the LLM layer. So this is where AI comes into play. GitHub leverages leading LLM models like OpenAI, Google Gemini to analyze the requested information, identify patterns, generate meaningful insights, and prepare an easy to understand response. And then finally, the last one is the representation layer. So this is the experience your users or anyone interact with every day while they're using GitHub. So the answers they are presented as text, chart, dashboard, which can be easily shared through Outlook and Teams. So everything is designed to be flexible, intuitive, and available in real time. And one of the, let's say, biggest strength of KDAPT is its flexibility. So it integrates seamlessly with a wide range of enterprise databases, including a Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, Postgres, Snowflake, MySQL, and many others. And it can also incorporate external data sources such as weather information or currency exchange rates. You can see them on the left bottom of the slide. So yeah, they can be incorporated or integrated as well whenever they add any business value. And because of this flexible architecture of KDAPT, it isn't just let's say limited to a single department. It can support finance, sales, procurement, inventory, HR. So making KDAPT a truly enterprise-wide BI platform. So this is all about how KDAPT works and the architecture diagram. Now let me talk about what KDAPT offers. So if I have to sum it all up, KDAPT is all about making data easy to work with. First, you simply ask question in plain English, and the conversational BI gives you instant answer. And the behind the scenes, sorry, the behind the scenes, the text to SQL engine takes care of the technical work for you. Say there's no coding involved, and it also brings data from different systems into one place and works with both structured and unstructured data as well. So structured data, it could be PMS, POS, any ERP system. And the unstructured data, it could be guest reviews, emails, and documents. So giving you a complete view of your business. And it also transforms that specific data into decision ready reports and portfolio wide insight. And while the role based access, it ensures that the right people actually see the right information. And with the predictive analytics feature, which is forecasting, you're not just looking at today's number, you also get a better sense of what's likely to come next in the future. Now, if you're in the hospitality industry, you know how quickly things can change, right? Let's say usually the guests they expect more, the bookings are coming in from everywhere, and even if you're managing multiple properties, there's a lot happening at once. So now you might see high occupancy or a greater RevPAR and think, okay, everything's going well, but that's not always the full picture or always the case. For example, the cost like labor, procurement, they can quietly reduce your margins. And on top of that, most of the teams are still looking at reports that tell them what already happened instead of telling them or helping them to decide what to do next in the future. And because the data lives across different systems, people spend more time pulling reports, dashboards, or whatever. So that's the time that could be spent improving the overall guest experience, right? So, how does our platform KDAPT help solve these challenges that I mentioned? So, this is where KDAPT really changes the way that hospitality teams work or any team. So, instead of relying on static dashboard and reports, you can simply have a conversation with your data, and then you get the answers very quickly you need. And because KDAPT brings together the data from your any ERP or CRM system, for example, PMS, POS, finance, booking channel, uh, it is actually giving you a real-time view of your business. So that means you can spot things like pricing changes, yield leaks, or rising labor costs before they actually start impacting your margin. And more importantly, KDAPT doesn't just show you that RevPAR or F&B numbers have changed. It helps you understand why they have changed and where you should focus next. And also the best part is your general managers, F&B directors, and asset managers can all get these insights very instantly and quickly without waiting for IT or the BI team to build the reports. So this means that less time is spent searching for the information, right? And more time making better decision. And those decisions could be improving the operation and ultimately delivering a better guest experience, because at the end of the day, hospitality is all about the guest. So the technology should actually stay in the background. So what the guest should notice is faster service, smoother operation, and a better overall stay. And that's exactly what our AI powered BI platform KDAPT helps with. So this wraps up a very short presentation about KDAPT, and now my colleague Janani will showcase you some examples and how KDAPT works, um, and how it can be used in the hospitality industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Niveta. Hi all. So far, you had a quick overview of the product, how it is modeled, its architecture, etc. Now let's see how KDAPT helps you to understand your business data in a deeper sense with a quick demo. This is a new user interface with enhanced features and options. We have incorporated different appearance themes, language settings, multiple environment integration, and more. Let's have a look at all of those one by one. The model section is where you can integrate different ERPs and CRM in the same tool, giving selective access to different sections of the organization. You can customize the access in the settings using the role-based access control feature. Here comes the dashboard, where you can pin all the critical answers visual representation in the form of a bar graph, a pie chart, a multi-line chart, etc. We have incorporated a new feature called the reports that can be used to get all the reports with just a few clicks. The dash report acts as the dashboard where you can have the reports of different formats. You can add new templates and can customize the report the way you want it. The full report is where you have all the reports of the entire database, or you can customize it for a specific year or a specific segment. The drill down reports are those where you can customize your reports with any data table, just like how you customize a pivot table in a spreadsheet. You can print these reports or you can download them as per your requirement. With this report option, you can submit a very finalized report with the final figures to the management, or a detailed report with all the parameters in a deeper sense to the operation team just in the few clicks. Next is the thread section. Any question you ask to KDAPT will be saved in the thread section, and you can access them without rerunning the query. You can pin a query for easy access. You can schedule any query automatically, which will run it at different time intervals, for example, daily, weekly, or monthly, etc. You can also archive your questions without deleting them. So this is the home page. This is where you can type the questions to KDAPT, and your conversation with your data begins through KDAPT here. You have a set of free predefined questions that is customized as per your data by the tool. The modeling layer stores all the data as tables that KDAPT uses to generate the answers. The Knowledge tab is where you can view all the SQL queries that are used to communicate between you and your data. The document section is where you can store all the formats of unstructured data like Word documents, spreadsheets, policies, SOPs, knowledge bases, technical documents, user manuals, contracts, etc. And you can use them along with your data to derive the answers when and wherever necessary. In the hospitality industry, every reservation is a story, but usually those stories are buried under thousands of rows of data. That is where KDAPT comes in. KDAPT is a generative business intelligence solution that lets you talk to your data using a conversation as easily as you would talk to your guest at the front desk. Let's look at how this changes everything for stakeholders in a day-to-day life. Our demo covers 3 core operation pillars: occupancy, restaurant operations, and revenue performance monitoring. So let's first check the occupancy trends without pulling the massive data files. Let's simply ask KDAPT to compare the reservations made in the year 2025 and 2026. KDAPT understands your question, goes to the model, and retrieves the related tables, analyzes them, organizes its thoughts according to the question, generates an SQL statement, and displays your answers as shown. In the year 2025, there were 124,571 reservations, generating a total revenue of approximately $56.6 million. Whereas in the year 2026, the reservation has increased significantly to 131,383 in number, with reaching a total revenue of $59.7 million approximately. Overall, both the number of reservations and the revenue had grown up. Next, let's drill down into the market segmentation with a multivariable request. Show the average length of stay, the total reservation revenue by market code by month. In seconds, KDAPT has given a complete segmentation map. Here is a summary. The average length of stay for reservation is consistently 1 day across all months and all market codes. When you compare the data for 5 months, corporate bookings are the top revenue generators. Other market codes like group, leisure, online travel agencies have also contributed to the revenue, with leisure generally generating the most of them. Now, to identify your highest value channels for reservation, you can simply ask KDAPT to compare the total reservations made for different sources between November 2025 and March 2026. So between the given period of time, we have a table that explains everything in detail. So the corporate source had the highest number of reservations, followed by leisure, online travel agencies, and then the group booking. With the above insight, we can decide whether we should concentrate more on which segment should we have to concentrate more and where should we have to improve. So next, let's pull up a massive multi-line property data set that would typically crash a basic spreadsheet. And now let's simply ask KDAPT to show the daily rooms sold, rooms available, room revenue for every property and room type over the entire period available month-wise. So here is a summary of the cross-property data showing a total number of rooms sold, rooms available, the total revenue generated by each property, room type, group by month. What you see here is a clear and consolidated data that would require a laborious analysis. With the above information, we can understand the revenue generated by each room in every property and thereby decide on the next steps. So next, let's talk about the peak reservation dates. When are the peak reservation period, each month-wise based on the reservation counts. KDAPT analyzes the peak reservation dates from the pertaining tables involved in the in your data and gives us a very concise table with the dates. With this data, we can not only understand the revenue advantages, but also by further drilling down, we can also understand the difficulties faced in staffing, room allocations, and thereby we can plan accordingly to avoid this in the future. Thus, KDAPT help us to position ourselves as someone who values time to demonstrate how to bypass the traditional and slow IT reporting loops to resolve immediate staffing and premium inventory bottlenecks. To close out occupancy, we should also be knowing on the occupancy percentages of each property. Show the average occupancy percentage of each property. By asking this question to KDAPT, we can understand that almost all the properties listed have a minimum, have more than 70% of occupancy at any point of time. So far we had seen occupancy covering all the aspects. So now let's move on to food and beverages or the restaurant part. So the first thing we'll ask is the top three menus by net sales with each cuisine type. Here are the top three menu items with net sales of each cuisine type across American, Asian, Italian, Mediterranean, and Mexican. So this gives us a deeper knowledge on what menu type is performing the best and the revenue that it has yielded. So let's move on to the next question. Instead of manually combining the POS system for an audit, just query KDAPT to know on the sales data. Show the consolidated sales line with the property name, restaurant type, menu item, and the net amount for January 2026. Here is a summary of data that's broken down by month, that's January month. So it has got its property name, restaurant name, menu item name, and the net amount that it has yielded. With this, we can understand that which menu has performed well in January 2026, and subsequently we can infer that which menu was performing the least. To optimize the labor, staffing, and kitchen overhead, let's watch KDAPT to calculate the complex revenue ratios on the fly. What percentage of each property's F&B gross revenue comes from each meal period from June 2025 to March 2026? So here comes the summary of what each meal period, that is breakfast, lunch, dinner, and late night, had contributed to the total F&B revenue for each property from June 2025 to March 2026. These percentages show the proportion of revenue from each meal period relative to the total F&B revenue for each property during the specific period. This looks like a very normal question, but when you look at the figures and analyze the outcome in a deeper sense, we can understand some features like business versus leisure mix, then in-house guest capture rate, staffing and cost controlling, supply chain management and inventory turnover, overcoming the RevPAR blind spots, then local market penetration, temporal and seasonal shifts, etc. So finally, let's look at the larger picture of the hospitality industry metrics, the revenue performance monitoring. For anyone sitting in an executive asset review meeting and questions asked about the revenue metrics, you need not pull in silos of data and call it any analysts. You can just ask KDAPT and you will get answers in just minutes. Let's ask KDAPT to evaluate the winter room pricing strategy by simply typing what is the ADR by room type in November 2025 to March 2026. So from the given period of time, the average daily rate for each room type is listed both in the summary view and in the table view. So these figures represent the ADR per night for each room type during the period. With this data, we can easily understand the brand perception and the elasticity of demand in the market. So moving forward on the metrics, so let's ask KDAPT to compare the ADR and the RevPAR by property from like for January 2026 and for the month February 2026. So here we have the entire data for both January and February. So these figures show how much each property had earned on ADR and how much revenue they had generated relative to their property's capacity during both January and February 2026. So analyzing these data, you can, these relationships and gaps between the ADR and the RevPAR, you can have some critical inferences like assessing the occupancy, health, and utilization, spotting the over discounted or volume traps, evaluating pricing strategy adjustments, market competitiveness, etc. So to evaluate your dining or search across seasonal fluctuations, let's query to KDAPT to compare the revenue during peak and off-peak seasons from different restaurant concepts. So when you compare the data, you can just see that you have got all the data for the off-peak seasons, and it has clearly shown here that you have no data for the peak season. So when you have a close look at this explanation, we can clearly notice that KDAPT says that there is no data for the peak season to compare with the off-peak season. This is the most important aspect of KDAPT's usability, that it points out the missing data and it makes sure that it does not mislead any interpretation. So to wrap up your executive summary, let's find out which properties are scaling the fastest. Rank the properties by their RevPAR growth from November 2025 to February 2026. Based on the analysis of your data, KDAPT has displayed the top 5 properties in the summary view, and it has given you a very detailed report for the entire property list. Analyzing the RevPAR allows the management and the owners to draw several vital inferences like the true health of the property, the market competitiveness and indexing, spotting operational and strategic missteps. So far, we have had a glimpse of what KDAPT can do with your data, but there are a lot more. So if you would like to know more on KDAPT and how it helps you to understand your organization's data and take good decisions on it, please schedule a personalized demo by reaching out to us at info@kdapt.com or book your comfortable time slot in our bookings page in the website www.kdapt.com. Hope you had a chance to go through KDAPT's usability and all the features and understand how the raw hotel data is converted to finished reports with a few clicks, and how KDAPT helps all the stakeholders to get portfolio-wide insights delivered from the front desk to the boardroom. That's the power of KDAPT. Total operational clarity, instant, accessible across every system and property in no time. So you don't need any data analyst or any complex coding. You can just ask simple questions to KDAPT and it will give you answers in, say, a matter of minutes. So let me hand over to Priya to know more about the product and some global insights.
Thanks, Janani. Before we jump into these global insights, one of the most unique features that I find from KDAPT is a feature we have worked into to include, which is structured versus unstructured data. This is important because what it allows you to do is compare information that is in your database to information that could be in a Word document, an Excel, PDF, and any even handwritten notes that are scanned in. To take an example of this, let's look at, let's take the eggplant, or for those in Europe, the aubergine. You have a restaurant at your hotel or property. The chef has written eggplant into a few of their menu items, and the recipes for that are saved in a Word document in your system. KDAPT will allow you to read through those menu items and that recipe and calculate out how much eggplant would be needed for a evening service, and help you create your cost of goods sold by comparing what has been there before and what would be expected to be needed for the next night. And that is something that is very unique to KDAPT. This is something that can be compared with contracts, with rental agreements, with other properties that are not rooms in the hotel but outside, like beach houses or other properties like that, and even customer reviews and surveys. Anything that is not included in the SQL database but is on your system can be included in the insights that KDAPT can give you. So that is something I wanted to call out here. In addition, so global insights into in-house AI systems. In 2004, a study was done that analyzed AI systems built in-house by companies versus systems purchased by companies and implemented. And in 2024, it was discovered that 80% of them failed. And they failed to even leave the proof of concept stage of the project. AI systems can cost upwards of $20 million and an additional of either $8,000 to $21,000 per year to maintain. And they don't actually have in-house ones don't actually show an impact to the profitability, but purchasing from outside can actually give you the insights without the large expenditure that you need to do in-house to maintain, create, and or maintain. KARYA has taken it upon itself to take that risk and to create this AI system. We've created a unique system that fits on top of any ERP and can be customized to any organization and any industry. This is something that we worked very, very hard for over the last year to produce and, as you can see, bring to market. This is also something that I will say can work with any system and answer any question within an organization that is required. So thank you for listening to our webinar, but now I'll take any questions or insights that might be there. So I will open up the chat function and see. You can either raise your hand or put it into the chat or put it into the Q&A. Okay, here we go. How does KDAPT connect to hospitality systems such as PMS, POS, ERP, and CRM without impacting existing operations? Praveen, could you answer this?
Yes, I got it. So the different systems that are in this hotel industry, right? How we can connect KDAPT to that. So as we discussed in the presentation as well as in the demo walkthrough, any database, it can be connected to a secure database connection using the database connectors. Also, if there are no structured database connector available, we can connect it through APIs. So let's say, for example, if you're using some kind of a system where you don't have a SQL or Oracle database, then in those kind of scenarios, we can use the APIs and extract the required information and connect KDAPT to it and ask the required queries against your data and get the insights of your data. Does that answer that question? Anything else?
Yes. I believe that answers that question. Next question was, what kind of business insights can hotel management derive using KDAPT? I think this
is like most functional. So if you're going for any business, it's a competitive world and you need to be on top of the market. And how we are going to be on top is you need to know what are going to be your metrics. So we need to make sure we have metrics in hand, and it should be very quick enough to get those metrics, not like waiting for several days to get those kind of things. So let's say, for example, you need to know the food and beverage sales trend for the daily basis and which are the top most items that are sold in respect to food and drinks. You can get those data, just ask one question. It's a mobile friendly application as well. You need not even log into a respective system, or you want some technical users to go and fetch these information. You want to know the revenue of your total hotel bookings. Everything can be get from mobile handed application. So these are all the main things. Guest booking patterns, department wise, how is their operational performance? Everything can be measured using KDAPT system.
Excellent. One additional thing I would like to bring up for this is that the insights you can get as a hotel manager, as a regional hotel manager, or someone working behind the desk, is it also allows you, there is some predictive element to this. It can help you plan out your week, plan out your occupancy, and even it can help you create a plan for how to structure upcoming events or high occupancy times. All right, so we have one more question. How would you compare this with Cortex from Snowflake, as all of our data is already within Snowflake and we started to leverage Cortex?
So let's say you have data stored in Snowflake or some kind of data warehouse, okay? And as I said, if that doesn't give you like a SQL connector, like a database secure connector, the ODBC or connector to go and access the database, because they keep it secure and it's a cloud-based solution. So in those kind of situations, either you could do it via the API approach, the application programming interface technique that I mentioned earlier, or we can extract the required table of data and create like another environment. And one more thing I would like to say, like KDAPT is going to connect to your real-time data only in read-only mode. So it's not going to affect your data by change. There's not going to be any change in your data. And also the data, whatever that is picked, it's going to be stored in customer's infrastructure only. It's going to be configured in customer's infrastructure only. So it can be connected with the API, or we can extract the required data and convert that to a structured database like a Postgres or a SQL or Oracle, whatever flavor that is available with your data center or with your infra setup. We can once that setup is done, we can connect KDAPT to that and also ask questions and get insights from those data, like creating a staging environment and making it sync with the real-time data, like every 1 hour or 2 hours or like that. And you can have like a staging setup and connect KDAPT to that if there is any highly security restriction with respect to Snowflake.
One other thing I would like to bring up is, so this is Cortex works solely with Snowflake. It does, if most hotels and most hospitality systems have more than just one place for their data. They have Snowflake. They might also have a point of sales information. They might have a customer CRM system. They have multiple different areas. And in this, KDAPT actually can talk to all of those systems and give you the insight. If not just from Snowflake, it can compare the information from Snowflake against other information within your ecosystem, your technology ecosystem. I hope that answered your question. We have a couple of more questions. One is this other question: can business users use plain English, or do they need to know SQL or any technical knowledge to ask these questions?
No technical knowledge is needed. As Priya mentioned, it is right from the receptionist or executive level to the topmost management member can use a KDAPT system. You need not have any techno function, too much technical knowledge to write some SQL or create some dashboards. And one more added advantage with KDAPT is like it gives you some recommended questions, like how to go ahead with the conversation. Maybe you might be a little bit hesitant to ask in the initial stage, but it guides you like it gives you some info about your data that is involved in the system, and it gives you like what are all the important things that you know about your data, and it makes you very interactive, and you can get your insights based on just texting with your own preferred language. Even those kind of customization can be done.
Awesome. Any additional questions? Very good. Thank you so much for attending our webinar. If there is any additional questions you have, or you'd like a specific demo for your business, please reach out to us at info@karyatech.com. We are happy to set that up, and thank you so much for your time.